All right. Good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here. Welcome back. All right. All right. Good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here. Welcome back. We have a. All right. All right. Good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here. Welcome back. We have a. All right. Just some technical issues. Here, just give me 1 second here. Can you guys hear me okay? Just some technical issues. Here, just give me 1 second. What? Here.
Music going on still.
Oh. Can you guys hear me okay? Just some technical. It's. What?
Music going on
All right, guys. It's just. Give me a second. It's getting I'm getting reverb for some reason. All right, guys. It's just. Give me a second. It's getting I'm getting reverb for some reason. Damn it. All right, guys. It's just. That's what happens. Yeah, it's repeating for some reason. That's what happens. That's what happens when you have. All right. That's what happens when you have. All right. Be good. Just checking to see if it's reverbing still.
Alex texting me.
Yeah, just checking to see if it's reverbing still.
You gotta fix your sound.
Huh?
You gotta fix your sound.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just checking to see if it's reverbing still.
You gotta fix your sound.
Yeah, there's a delay. I don't know where it's
You gotta
coming
fix your
from.
sound.
Yeah, I know. So. Yeah, just checking to see if it's reverbing.
I hear it.
Yeah, there's just a delay. I don't know where it's coming from.
Sound.
Not through Wirecast. It's weird. Yeah, there's just a delay. I don't know where it's coming from.
Is the headphone icon?
Not through.
I think I don't hear us now.
Yeah. Okay. So can you guys still hear me? There we go. I think that should be okay.
Yeah, it sounds better now.
All right.
Alright.
So just wait. All right, guys, welcome back. You can hear me now, right? It's okay now? All right, guys, thanks so much. All right, Alex is busy. So actually, with Alex, it's kind of cool. He started his own company. Him and his couple guys, and he's doing Runner. So what Runner is literally it's Uber for contractors. It's an amazing company. So if you'd like to say invest in it, check it out. Put it on the chat, or go to customers, and then we'll send you the syllabus for you. So. How's Ions? Ions was really fantastic. Not as many people as we thought for some reason, but it was really fantastic. Met up with a lot of great individuals, really connected with a lot of new people. So we got a new product out that we might be looking at. It's this one is red rose, and it's, if you can smell it, it just smells like the actual flower. It's really quite amazing, and it's really pure. I wouldn't call them essential oils because they're more than just oils. It's really fantastic. We're actually looking into turning it into, say, an XI perfume or an XI cologne with frequencies behind it, so it always stays pure, which is really cool. So comment in on what you think about that idea. Plus, we've also, a lot of people have been asking. It's like, gosh, Moss, you're looking really good. What do you do physically? What do you take? What do you eat? What supplements do you take? So we're getting connected to people that'll give you, say, the right supplements, especially for cardio health, which is really important. So cardio health and just looking good. So we'll give you a list of supplements that I use. and then say their suppliers, so they're good to go. All right. So now I think that we've got everything situated, and we can all hear. Just give me a second, guys. Just want to rearrange the screen. I should have multiple screens. So one thing about going live, right? All right, so I think we're good to go. Okay, so this is the Godfather frequencies. So welcome to Masati on Sunday. A lot of people, especially nowadays, scientists are coming to me. Scientists are coming to me. A lot of doctors are coming to me. They're figuring out why, or they're figuring out what's going on with their patients. It's doctors and scientists that really want to know the truth, not their propaganda or anything like that. Even physicists, they're coming to me. It's like, hey, how the hell do you do that? So if you've ever wondered why, some call me the healer's healer, the leader's leader, the coach's coaches, basically the Godfather frequencies, right? If you've ever wondered that, well, it's because here are just a few of the reasons. It's because that there's a lot of high-level CEOs. They make a ton of money. They're highly successful. And they come to me and it's like, hey, Moss, you know what? I've got everything. It's fantastic. I can do that part really well. But, what is it missing inside me, right? It's like I have everything I need and want, but you have that one thing that I need to make me feel complete. Science, doctors, those individuals that are waking up. Many of you are waking up. It's like, damn, what is it that guy has that I'm looking for? And it's not that you're taking you're taking that from me, but it's like I can reproduce that on my own. That's what I do. That's why I call it the Godfather frequencies. And right now, as Einstein would have said, back in the day, that in the future everything would be about that frequencies. Well, the future is now. The future is happening now, and everybody is going towards, there's a deeper layer. There's a deeper understanding. So if you've done, Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, and all those, fantastic individuals, courses, or spirituality, or even, psychedelics and so on like that. Whatever it is, it's like, shit, there's still, what is that? What's that missing? What's the frequency behind what you're doing that's missing? And that's what we're going to be talking about. And that's why, XI, when you see it, even at the IAN show, the new people come to me. It's like, oh my God, how do you read me so precisely? So it's not just reading you, but it's like, as I read people now, people start to shift and change. Comment in if you're one of those individuals, that I just say, talk to you. Okay? And then you start to shift and you start to change, or you start to, it's like this one lady, at the IONS conference, she's had back problems. She's gone to so many doctors for so many years, literally worked on her on stage for, less than 5 minutes. She comes back, she gives Faye a hug. Faye gets all the attention. I do the work, Faye gets all the attention and all the gifts. Crazy, right? And she goes, my back's all gone. My back's all done. So it's that kind of pattern. It's like, how can you release so fast? That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, what I see, how I do it, how you can do it as well, so. And this is where XI, again, becomes to feel so precise and so powerful and so effortless. Have you also noticed, and there's always new people watching, so thank you for that. Comment in, subscribe, guys, please, to make this channel grow, because it's really, really important for all of humanity. And again, we'll get into why that's so important. But the reason why it feels so precise, because it makes everything just click in. Right? You have everything, they're kind of jagged, and then what XI comes along is, it's like, oh, let me just adjust it for you, and then everything just clicks. Kind of like that seatbelt thing, it just clicks, and it's like, oh, okay, I feel safe, I feel complete. So that's what XI is literally about. All right. As a note, XI is not a replacement for anything. It's not a replacement for, again, Tony Robbins and all those individuals that I talk about. Again, many people think I'm competing against them. I'm really not. Although fortunately they compete against me. But if we weren't in this kind of society, we would actually go, shit, it's a great complementary piece. So we don't make you successful, but we help you understand success so much better. We don't make you like healthy, but we help you unlock the code that you can access to become healthy. Again, so we just make you a better human. And the way we do that, that's what we're going to get into today. And it goes beyond or defies, say, the current science or physical logic. Okay? And it's not because it's magic. It's not because it's woo-woo or anything like that. It's just because it's literally the science that we haven't discovered yet. Simple. Okay. So again, it's literally the science we had discovered. So this Sunday, today, now, okay, the Godfathers of Frequencies is opening up that vault, and basically I'll walk you through how I actually see the architecture. Notice I use certain words, right? I don't use the normal language. I'll talk about that too. So I see the architecture of your life, your blueprint. I see your pain points. I see your hidden distortions, your untapped potential, and how I edit that blueprint in real time. So you'll finally get to understand what makes XI so exact, why transformation can happen really, really fast, and so fast that sometimes, it seems like your mind or your behaviors, your habits, your emotions have to catch up. How many have been like that as well? It's like, you've been in a tragic wound for so long and then it just disappears, and it's like, wait a second, what happened to that wound? What happened to all the memories of yesterday? How many of you gone through that, by the way? Comment in. It's like, shit, I can't even remember my past. Not because it's amnesia, but your past feels really, really far away. It's like, shit, was that my past? How did that happen? Okay, so we'll talk about all those layers, file systems, programming, all those things. So again, here it is, the difference between XI and everything else. It's not self-help. It's self-awakening, self-remembering. It isn't therapy. Okay? It isn't another protocol. This is the science of the future. And today, you are going to get a sneak preview of what I think humanity will actually call, one day, will call normal. Literally. All you that are awakening at some point in the future, people go, oh yeah, that just is, right? And that's what we're coming to be, because we're evolving. We're forced to get involved. We're forced to evolve no matter whether you like it or not. There's a lot of questions that you all sent in, so thank you for the questions. I'll try to go through the questions as fast as I can. Sometimes I get a little delayed or extended in, or I go into those rabbit holes because I scan you all, and then I keep answering the questions that you might even have in your mind. Okay, so again, so when I do that, I'm going to have a timer. Actually, so I don't do that, because I do get, say, lost in time sometimes. Stopwatch. Alrighty. And the deeper questions, you can go to my Substack channel, the XI Science on Substack, and also XI Total Total Human. I don't know if the team can put the exact. I forgot what it is. I think, yeah, XI Total Human. Yeah, XI Total Human, something like that, on Substack. If you just look for Masati, XI Masati, you'll know that. Okay? All right. So again, here it is, raw. It's direct. All right. I categorized these. Part one, opening the door. So new people, curious, skeptical. The science types, the people who, the science types, the religious types is like, gosh, is this another religion? Hell no. Is this another science? Not the science of today. It's not another science. It's the actual science. Literally, I decoded what the universe has been running for, 13.5, probably trillions of years that we don't even know about. I've decoded that science. So So it's been proven for billions and billions of years. There really is, the way I teach it might have exceptions to the rule, but the science, as we perfect it, has no exceptions to the rule. The interesting about science, which is kind of crazy, is I forgot the guy's name, but he basically started off the science. It's like, if you can prove it wrong, then it's called science. So, for example, of the black swan, you've heard of the black swan, right? That concept. So you've got all white swans. So, and then the concept is, in science, if you can prove that there's a black swan, then it's real, which is kind of messed up for me, because it's like, well, so does that mean the more black swans you have, then it's more science? Because that's what it kind of seems to be, isn't it? It's like the more exception to the rule, then it's real science. So again, the higher level science does not have exceptions to the rule. Gravity just works the same way for everybody. It doesn't care about your culture, your color, how much you weigh or anything. It's amazingly how it works for everybody. Electromagnetism, all the physics of that run this reality, they work on everybody. There is no black swan. So I don't know where science got that, or I don't even know if that's just an intelligent concept to base like something that's really should be really solid on. Kind of crazy. Can somebody go in and comment in on who that guy is? He literally, the thesis of science. It can't be called science if you can't prove it wrong. That's literally his thesis, and I'm going, what? Kind of crazy, right? All right. So here we go. So question 1: what's your ultimate purpose? Okay. So what is my ultimate purpose? Sometimes you're to save the whales and all that. Actually, it's for me to awaken the intelligence you that never was broken. Really, it's help you to remember who you truly were at your highest potential. Okay, So my purpose is literally to help you remember who you were originally before anyone told you who to be. And this restores humanity to where it should be. So if we evolve properly, imagine if we evolve properly, and what that means would be we'd evolving at the same pace as nature. Humans have fallen way back. I mean, we create sciences, we create distortions, we create abuse, we create wars, we create all that stuff that we don't see in nature. If humans just disappeared, everything would come into harmony and balance. Okay? So my purpose is literally to go, hey guys, everything is created with harmony and balance if we just listen to ourselves, if we just remembered who we were. Okay? So outside of religions, outside of distorted sciences, all those things, coming back and telling you, the truth of who you are. Because that is the greatest, say, passion for me. Especially when a kid, is all messed up. They got ADD, they got this, they got that. It's like, holy hell, they're on, medicines and so on. And, you literally, I just wave my hand, around them. And like 5 minutes later, they feel better. And it's like, shit. And then you see the brilliance of that child come back to life. How many of you seen those parents? Your child comes back to life. It's like, holy hell! It's like, wow, what happened? So that's basically, that's my intention. That way we can, we can see what we truly are without the disease, without the wars, without the distorted control, without those issues. So literally helping you, XI, literally restore the natural blueprint so we can evolve, on our own and actually see our potential. Okay. And it could be, it could be just my desire, but I need humanity to rise so I can see my potential. So if it's a selfish potential, that's fantastic. But again, we all benefit from it. Okay. All right. So the next question is, what do you actually see when you scan someone's frequency? Well, literally, I see the architecture of your life, the patterns, the distortions, timelines shaping your reality, not just symptoms, but literally the blueprint underneath. I see this. I see frames. Kind of like as still shots. I don't see I'm not clair audio, clairvoyant, clair, sentient, clair anything like that. I don't channel or anything, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But literally, I see frames for you because I see, and then I see. Okay, close your eyes, take a breath in. Imagine that you're looking at those, old film strips, right? Those old projectors, and you're looking through it, through your eyes, not through a projector, and you see frames, okay? And then you see, in between the frames, okay? In between the frames is literally what I tap into. I don't care about, what's in the frame. Okay, that's like, say, a psychic's job or somebody who's intuition. They see what's inside the frame. I see what's around the frame. Okay, now I call those, wrapper frequencies, right? And that would be. I don't want to get too involved. So I'm not going to talk about that again. Looking at the time clock here. So around the frame is basically how you are programming yourself. So I don't see, again, your past like you would. I don't go, oh, you had a dog that died and then and then you got bummed out for the rest of your life, or your parents got divorced at 4. Although I see those things, I really don't see the images of that. I see the rendering on why that was created for you again. So around that film strip, each frame, I see the image. So if you look at photos and then you look at, say, more info, it gives you all the details. That's what I see. I see the IP address of where you got the idea. I see the IP address of, it's like, this is where, it's like, gosh, your great uncle had, disease, whatever it might be. And it's like, you've got that. It's like, I see where you literally got that IP address from. So again, it's the frame right around that. And then what I do, and then what I see is I see how it runs through your projector. Basically, I see how you run through your light or your spirit. So that gives me a frequency heartbeat, okay? And sometimes it's like you're running through life and it's just like that, and I go, oh, your life is really scattered. Or, there's like 4 films running at the same time. Literally, it's just like that. It's like, yeah, my life is scattered. I can't figure out who I am. It's like, yeah, so you're seeing the after effects. I don't see the symptoms, I see the cause, okay? And then also, and I think I'll talk more about that, but literally, I can stop the frame, I can stop the frame rate, okay? And again, the frame rates, those kind of concepts, or physics, the science, XI science, guys, I can't explain it all here. Those kind of things, I can literally stop the frame of your life back then. So I'm not seeing a memory. I'm not seeing a hallucination of you. I'm actually seeing what happened through space and time. Some of you might go, oh, he's seeing the Akashic records. Okay. Akashic records is literally just, say, just transcription. I'm literally seeing, say, the database. So for you sciencey people, if it's the database, you just throw a number in and it's formatted for a telephone number or social security or a date. And then, well, basically that's what happens. So just think about that. You throw a number in, you throw an experience in, and it just it formats it the way it should be. Okay. Again, that's that thing on the outside. So I see the coding, and since it's beyond the 5 senses, I just know it. If that makes sense to you, there's just the knowledge base that I say connect with, and we all have this, by the way, where you just know, because again, the knowledge that I have goes beyond the 5 senses. Okay. All right, so how is XI different from, okay. How is XI different from therapy, coaching, or energy healing? Okay. Well, coaching, energy healing, mindset, again, those kind of scenarios, whether it's a mindset, like Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, those, Grant Cardone, all those, the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich type individuals, right? All those flourished from one source, basically Napoleon Hill. There was actually some guy before that. So those manage And then energy healing, spiritual people, that move energy around, they move their hands around, sometimes like me, but very different. I'll talk about that as well. So those manage the effects. The wave, those type of modalities manage the effect. Okay, XI works at the inception frequency level that created the effect. Okay, so you shift, and this is where I say, you shift or you change your frequency, and everything else changes. Your life changes, and you have no choice to follow. Literally, once you shift your frequency, how many of you have been like that? Once your frequency shifted, there is really no choice for you. Okay, and it's not like you're dictated to have. There is free will, obviously, but it's just like you naturally say come into harmony and balance. That's why there's really no choice. If you just allow yourself, you'll naturally come into harmony and balance, just like everything else that's created in nature. Okay, so the best way to imagine what inception frequencies are, imagine like a compound. Okay, close your eyes, take a breath in. Imagine a compound, and then say there's a hand that comes through and just puts a ripple through it, okay, or drops something in that compound. All right, so you can imagine that, right? All right, so and then people go, oh, that's that ripple. Okay, now you put something square, you drop something square in it, and it creates a square ripple. But then eventually it turns into, again, harmony and balance, right? It turns into, so whatever image that you put in, basically it'll turn into harmony and balance. But that's a side note. All right, so most people, again, mindset, energy healings, medicines, religions and all that, what they do is like, oh, I don't like the ripple that's created. I really don't like the ripple that's created. Let's try to change the ripple. And again, it works, but then you're the one who keeps, but what's dropping, or who's strumming, who's creating the ripples? So most people, again, they try to say smooth out the ripples. XI edits the intelligence that made the ripples in the first place. Okay? Think of it that way. Again, XI, and so I did go before, so that's the kind of questions I was asking before my second near death. Is like, okay, I'm seeing these patterns in my life, and obviously it's not my mindset, right? Because how many of you have done that, right? And then it's like, well, who's actually controlling the space? And we go, well, it's God, it's this, it's that. It's really not. You just don't have access to the original, say, blueprint that's running your system, and XI allows you to do that. Again, you have to ask yourself, not just like, oh, there's ripples, there's distortions in my life, but then it's like, well, what's the intelligence that created the distortion? So inception frequency is another example for you. The guitar, right? Who's strumming that guitar? What's the intelligence that's strumming or creating the music of your life? That's what you gotta ask. And then you edit that intelligence, okay? Not the after effect of what happened after you strummed the guitar strings. That's the key. All right. Question 2, the next question, do I need to believe in this for it to work? Okay. Absolutely not. No, in fact, belief is mind-based. Since I go beyond your belief system, it doesn't matter. Okay? Whatever's out here, say, dictates or shifts you, no matter what your belief system is. Okay? And some of you go, oh, shit, that's even worse than MK Ultra and all that stuff. Really not. The reason is that to have or access the abilities that I have, you have to be at the most congruent, and you cannot use any force. You cannot control anybody. You cannot oppress anybody in any way. Okay? So again, in that case, you open people up to their limitless potential. That's the only access that you have. Okay? You might not like it because you might think, shit, that's not my limitless potential. But again, you open yourself up. I help people open up to their limitless potential. So it goes beyond the mind. In fact, You know, XI again works at the physical level, way below, way before thought, before belief. In fact, some of the most fascinating, say, transformations, and then again comment in, is when I work on people through their loved ones. So whether they believe it or not, and those individuals that I've worked on, they don't even know I worked on them, and they go, "MOS, thanks for working on my daughter or whoever," and they change. So how does that work? Okay. All right. So the way that works is, I tap into, say, their logic level, their true self of who they are, not their distorted self. That's addicted, that's fucked up, or whatever. So in that scenario, again, you tap into their, say, spirit and say, ask, hey, do you want to shift and change? It's like, oh, hell yeah, right? They just don't know how to at that physical level. So again, you don't even need to know, that I'm working on you to say work on you. In fact, that's the way whenever you communicate with people, you're literally working on people. Okay, I'm just more mindful on the vibes that you're sending out. You can think of it that way. Just imagine, you're walking down the street. Okay, you're sending out signals. Everybody else on that street is sending out signals. Okay, so you're editing them, you're working on them, you're changing their habits, their patterns, and so on. I'm just more observant of, say, what I'm sending out, so I'm more cautious. I'm not just throwing my trash out there, because that's what most people do. They're just throwing their drama out there, their diseases, their traumatic life. They're just bleh, out there, just like literally trash, right? They're just throwing it out. And what if somebody was actually throwing trash around like that? Okay, you wouldn't like it, right? Well, there's frequency trash that people do it all the time, and that's what. So I'm very conscious of like the trash that I'm throwing out. In fact, I don't throw trash; I recycle it. And then what I do is like I help you basically recycle your trash. To go, hey, you're throwing your trash out. Nobody likes it. The world doesn't like it. Animals, humanity, nature doesn't like it. Maybe you should check what you're throwing, and people wake up. It's like, oh God, yeah, that's true. And then you recycle your trash from previous generations, hereditary patterns. What happens in my body or mind during a recalibration? Yes, this is at the Ions convention. This is where I was working on a few individuals. They're getting wobbly. If you've ever had me work on you and you just don't feel right, or you just, in this case, you just like, boom, she just passed out. I elegantly placed her on the floor, but that's what happens. So your system basically reorganizes. Your system reorganizes itself. So you might feel heat, tingles, emotions, or even nothing at all sometimes, but the blueprint is still shifting. So I edit your frequency. So if you think of, say, a wire grid, okay? There's a wire grid, a frequency grid, I would call it, that renders your body. Okay? I don't change your body. I change, say, the mold that shapes your identity, your body, your sense of self, and so on like that. So I change that frequency grid, and as you change that frequency grid, what happens is that your body shifts and changes. Okay, for a lot of individuals, actually, they shift and change, even if I'm not, physically there with you. You'll actually feel a shift through Zoom, through these hyper meditations, that we just finished. Know Thyself, which is really fantastic. Although it's a recording, you can still take advantage of it. It's really, really fantastic, especially for the new people that met me at Ions. If the team can put that up, really, really fantastic. Okay, so in that case, you change. Say the wire grid, the frequency grid, and then your physical body changes for you. Okay, and it edits your identity, your mindset, basically your being. Why do some people shift instantly, while other takes longer? Okay, this is really key. A lot of times, those individuals who shift, they've done the work, they've got the success mechanisms, they've been searching, at a very deep level. Even as a child, it's like, shit, this environment is not right, it's not complete, I want something different. So when they see XI or they see me, it's like, that's the guy, okay? That's a guy that can unlock the code. And it's the XI code, and you unlock it, and they just go in, and then there's some individuals who are scared. They're just scared of everything. That was a protective mechanism, which is totally fine, because they've been hurt, they've been abused, they've tried so many things things out there, and that it hasn't worked. They've tried to be their best self, and they've been abused for it. So in this case, it's like I show them the door, I open the door for them. Literally, it's like, hey, come on in. And it's like, I don't know, I'm scared. So again, it just takes time, because again, of fear, control, or being controlling. Okay. Someone says, I feel a shift now. Exactly. So how many of you in the past didn't feel anything, or were just too scared? You saw the possibilities for you, basically that's what happens. You see the possibilities that are there, but you're just going, God, I don't know. I just need that assurance. I need that insurance that the next step for me is going to be safe. Well, you're in time. You're in the present moment. That's how you change, being in the present moment. Some people are basically scared of getting into the present moment, again, because of what I said earlier. Okay, but the frequency in itself has changed. It's open. Once you listen or hear the truth, you cannot go back. So even if you don't change, say, instantly, the truth just keeps getting louder and louder and louder in your mind. How many people have gone through that as well, right? It's like, I had a session with MOS, but then, nothing changed for me. But then the truth just rang in your head so loud, if you didn't do anything, that you finally gave up. It's like, all right, forget my fear, I'm jumping in. And as soon as you jumped in, it's like, oh, damn, I should have done that, the first time MOS worked on me. How many of you have done that as well, right? Yeah, like joy in the beginning, it was heavier for me, and I wasn't secure with this. Exactly. The heaviness, by the way, got nothing to do with me. Just in that sense, when you feel that heaviness, that distortion, many people go, oh gosh, MOS brought that out. Yeah, I brought it out. I didn't create it for you. I brought it out for you, going, hey, MOS, what's happening in my life? Tell me. It's like, and I'm, I just pull this heavy stuff, and it's like, here you go. This is what's happening for you. And then you see it for the first time. It's like, that can't be me. It's like, well, shit, where did I pull it from? I'm not going to go there. And anyway, so you start to go, people who are religious is like, shit, that's not me. I'm too bright. I'm too angelic. I'm too kind for this. Like, no, this is you. This is the real you. And people don't understand that concept, right? So again, everything that you see, your old identities, your old patterns, it's all you. When I pull that out, this is the heaviness, this is the distortion, your fear comes out. Okay? Again, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm just that light that shines on you to go, this is what's happening for you. Okay? All right. By the way, your free will is intact. So those people who, again, have free will, like you do, many people, they see the truth and go, shit, I'm just going right in. They dive right in. Many people, they dip their toe in a bit. So either way, it's all good. Some leap, some cling. Let's put it that way. Question: Is this channeling, intuition, or science? It's really none. I'm not channeling or guessing or anything like that. I'm not assuming. I don't need you to fill this whole questionnaire out or anything like that. It's just straight out science. Again, I see the rapper frequency, your base code of who you are, the inception frequency of who you are, and once you can see that. So literally, XI is the science of decoding and editing the source code of your being. Okay, inception frequencies. Then I expand it into that reality. So what I do and how I see that is that basically I start to get a bird's eye view of how you render yourself. So you're at, say, level, say, 10 or 100 or 1000. It doesn't matter what level. I always go, say, a few levels higher than you, no matter who you are. It doesn't really matter. I literally have access to pretty much all the levels, okay? So in that case, just like Einstein said, you have to be outside of that level and higher, because you can only edit somebody a level. So you have to be, say, at least one level higher than the person that you're helping for them to get real change, real transformation. Otherwise, it's just an adjustment, and then you reset. So what happens is, like, you're at level 10. Oh, let me be at a level 11 for you. You're at level 1000. Let me be at a level 1001 for you. Okay, or higher, depending on where you want to go. Okay, if you're healing, basically, I go to a level or two above you, and this is where I tap into. And what I do, imagine this, I go to your server, I locate your server, and I go, oh, okay, and then I plug into your server, okay, because I have access to anybody's server, by the way, okay, and somebody of you might question, it's like, shit, that's a security threat. Yeah, no, you're a security threat to your own server, by the way. Okay, I'm not the security threat. Anyway, we can talk about that some other time. So I plug into your server, and then I go, oh, this is how you're running your code. And then I show you how you're running your code. And this is where this is if you're like an audio, like a feeling audio person. I tell you, it's like, this is how it feels like, but if you're more visual, I go, do you see what I'm saying with you? So I literally morph into your language, but that's how I do it. For those individuals who, say, want to be high performers, so for the healing mode, literally, it's like a 1 or 2 levels above. For those individuals who, want to go high performance, get that power, get that mindset, be a real gladiator, not just a fake one. You go, I literally go, oh, you're at level 10, well, and you want to be, that gladiator that wants to just be all powerful. It's like, well, shit, you got to be at level 10, 10 plus. So level 20, say, in this case, like, give it. So basically I go, okay, this is the frequency that you should be at. So I resonate at that frequency, and then I tune your frequency to this level. And basically what that happens is, again, I don't pull you to that level. I rewire your own frequency, so you're resonating at that level. Okay, you resonate at the 20 level. And as you resonate at the 20 level, then you go, oh, I remember who I am at that level. And then you naturally fall back down because you can't sustain it. So your job is literally to go, oh, so what do I need to let go? What do I need to shed away so I can, say, vibrate properly? And then you resonate at that 20 level. For those who want to go evolve, and that's why we've got, again, regenesis, which is reset, healing. We've got performance, or power, and then we've got evolve. For those who want to go, Moss, you know what? I want to be like in Buddhist states. I want to go into those Buddhist states and understand what life is really about. Well, this is more like a DMT type experience for those individuals. You have to be really, really ready for it. So you're, in this case, you should be at a level, say 40, 50, or you should be willing to shift and transform. It's really, really, really hard, and that's why there's not a lot of people at a Buddha level, or those levels. So, and then people go, well, I want to evolve. Well, you would have to, again, regenesis or rebirth yourself. You would have to have power or, performance. You have to, adapt to, say, the environment that's out there. And then I help you evolve. So if you're at a level, and again, in this case, I'm just throwing out numbers, but, if most people are level, say, 20, 30, 50, you need to evolve. And it's not about your money or, how spiritual traditions you are. It's your frequency. If you're resonating, and most people are resonating, say, at a 10 or 50, you'll have to resonate at 100, or so, like that. And then I can take you in and go, oh, okay, so you want to be like a Buddha level? Oh, okay, low Buddha level, say, initial Buddha level, say 1,000 in the scale. And then go, okay, so basically I take you up to 1,000 level. Okay, kind of like a DMT experience or an ayahuasca experience, but your mind is active. You're not distorted. You didn't forget your body. It's not this mushroom experience that you just leave your body and you go out there and go, whoa, that's cool. That's great, but again, we do psychedelic or plant medicine journeys properly, where you take your mind or your identity with. So I take you up there and you go, whoa, this is really cool. But it does mess a lot of people up because they understand all the bullshit that they are down here. So, and then what happens is you stay higher and higher and higher, and this is where you go from a 50 to like a 200 to a 400, and you literally start to resonate at that level. Okay, so that's what happens. It's a little longer. Gosh, I'll probably do a part 2 on this. How can I test if XI is really working for me or not? Well, when you start to see patterns in your life that stop repeating, or notice choices you make without effort, or things just happen to you, right? Or you notice how life starts to reorganize itself around you. Some of you, your friends, or you start to just like radically change. A lot of times, though, people, especially who've invested a lot of things, a lot of money in, I don't know, like oh, Moss, I got this teacher and I've been with him for 20 years, and they come to me. It's like, well, why the hell are you coming to me? If that's working for you. Anyway, that's another question. But those people who are invested in their idea or in their belief system or their modality, like scientists, things like that. So they come to me, and then I work on them, and then they go, hey, how was that experience? Oh, I didn't feel anything. It's like, okay, great. And then they go back to their teacher, like a couple of weeks later, and it's like, hey, Moss, I hear this all the time. How many of you guys done this, by the way? And they go back to their teacher, and then they come back to me, and they go, yeah, Moss, you know what? I went back to my teacher, and we did something, and it's just like euphoria, and so they don't give me the credit, which I don't care. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. I don't want to take the credit. I want to give you the credit for opening yourself up to that higher level. And then what you just did when people do that, okay, what you just did when people do that is you literally gave the credit to your teacher or your therapist or whoever, or your science or your religion, to go, oh, they did that for me. So I gave you the credit, opened you up to that point, and then you limited yourself back in to go, oh yeah, so I did this work on beautiful couple. Then they went to a David Asprey deal. They've gone to Joe Dispenza. They've gone to so many things. They went to David Asprey. It's like, oh yeah, David Asprey, like, open me up. It's like, shit, they've done this for 20 years. They've spent, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, and nothing's really worked. That's why they're here with me. It's like, oh yeah, David Asprey. It's like, okay. So again, I'm not saying to take credit or take ownership of you. I'm literally, I gave you your essence of who you are, and then you gave it back to somebody. So watch out for that, okay? Take ownership of your transformation. That's what XI is about. All right, next question. What is XIQ and why does it matter? Okay, exponential intelligence quotient. It's your ability to live aligned with natural intelligence. So the higher it goes, the faster and cleaner you evolve. This is how efficiently you render yourself compared to your true potential. So what that means is that, one, you are here, okay? You're sick, you're ill, you have a ton of money, you have no money, you're highly spiritual, you're not spiritual, whatever it is, you're here, okay? Your potential that I see, original to your coding, not my idea, but your potential that's part of you, that is a possibility for you out here, okay, is, so I see the two, point A, point B, just like Google Maps. It's like you're here, and most people don't know where here is, okay, because again, they're too involved in their identity, of physical identity. Oh, I'm sick, I'm tragic, I'm a millionaire, I'm this and that. It's like, that's not you. What's the frequency underneath it? That's the key. So you're here, I point out exactly where you are, because Google Maps can't tell you the direction to go somewhere if it doesn't know your exact location. Most people don't know their exact location. And that's what I do. I tell you your exact location. Some of you like it, some of you don't. It doesn't matter. That's where you are in the frequency world. And then I point out, it's like you got to go that way. And I just route out a path for you. Okay? It's that simple. So your XIQ is how efficient do you go from point A to point B. Okay? Basically what that means for you higher level XIQers, basically how many filters can you delete and keep yourself still here without getting distorted. Say at Jesus level, yeah, those kind of individuals, they really don't die. They just like go, oh, it's time to go, and then they transition into another realm. They leave their bodies here. Sure, their bodies decay, but they literally, they're awaken as they go, yep, I'm out of here, and they just step into, what is it, Stairway to Heaven? They just go, see ya, and they're out. Get it? So again, how fast or how awakened are you to that potential? That's what your XIQ measures. Way beyond, IQ, way beyond EQ, way beyond all those other things that, say, dictate how intelligent you are. There's a hell of a lot of people who have 180, 190, Elon Musk and all that. He's fucked up as far as relationships go and all that stuff. And then they go, well, we need EQ. And then EQ can be edited as well. You do the right things, you're politically correct and all that bullshit. And then, my EQ is high. I said the right words. I dress properly and all that stuff. Okay, those can all be edited by your mind, right? And those, you have to take a survey, which is, most people, how many people are really truthful in the surveys that they take anyway? Get it? It's like, oh, I'm a kind person. And other people go, shit, man, that guy's a dick. Get it? If that makes sense for you? So, XIQ, you can't cheat on it. You can't get distorted on it. It's just the frequency that you resonate at. Simple as that. It doesn't matter how much money. It's just like gravity. It doesn't care who the hell you are physically. Okay? It just goes by, a certain constant. Your density, literally, not even your weight, but your density or your mass. And that can be calculated as well. So it literally is at that level. And that's what XIQ is. So the higher XIQ, the higher you resonate at, the higher levels that you can access. Get it? So that's what XIQ is about. All right. And this is where, part 2, breaking illusions. We might go a little longer here. Part 2, breaking illusions, patterns, wealth, poverty. Question, how does wealth frequency look like? Well, to me, wealth isn't money, it's coherence. So when your frequency is congruent, money, health, opportunities naturally align around you. So when I see somebody who has a wealth frequency, okay, and literally there's hardly nobody that I see around here, but say a Buddha, say a Muhammad, say an Abraham, say a Jesus, they've got wealth frequencies, right? And people go, oh no, Jesus was poor. No, hell no. They're not poor. They just don't need the physical, say, things to show people, hey, I'm rich. Okay? But in today's society, again, if you want to accumulate that in the right way, that's what you do. So when I see somebody's frequency, okay, wealth frequency, I literally see how congruent they are to their pure self, to their pure identity of who they are. So imagine this, a wealth frequency. If you were completely an awakened spirit, there would be no lack for you. There would be no, say, distortions for you. There would be no incompleteness. There would be no, say, I got to get that to understand who I am, right? You'd be complete. All right. So in this reality, money is an indication that you're free, right? You've got possibilities. You've got choices. Well, at a spirit level, again, outside of money, your freedom. You've got choices. You've got possibilities, right? Okay. So in this reality, money dictates that you've got choices. You've got possibilities. You've got probabilities. You do whatever you want when you want, all that stuff. Okay. So if you're an awakened spirit and you come into this world, okay, awakened, well, in this world, then you would have money. So money becomes a reflection of how you are, in how close you render yourself to the higher version of who you are. Simple. Most people go, shit, I'm broken, I'm fucked up, I'm this and that. And then what we'll do is like, I'll have money around me, I'll have my spiritual, I don't know, my prayer beads, my Bibles and this, I'll pray 5 times a day, and then so that's a facade around you, And yeah, it looks nice on the outside, but your frequency is missing. Okay? So when I see a wealth frequency, I see a resonance in you. And a lot of times when it's pure wealth, and I haven't seen that in adults, but in infants or pre-birth, there's brilliant spirits that hang out, and it's like, whoa. And when I see that, it's a beautiful bluish spirit, bluish color. It's not the blue. It's like the deep ocean blue, that vivid, say, purple blue that you go see in deep waters. It's kind of like that, but it just resonates. And it's a color not of this world. And when you see that, obviously you don't see it through your eyes, but you actually do. You see your eyes literally open more to see those frequencies. Okay, if you have higher XIQ, so you see that in people, it's like, whoa, and you literally want to dive into them because they're so, say, spacious. So that's what I see when I see a true wealth frequency at that level. If that person, say, can come into a physical form, they don't age like everybody else. And this is where some of you are starting to see glimmers of that, and you might even get some of those, those snapshots, Carillion photography and all that, right? How many have taken that, like before and after, and and people say, oh my God, your spirit, or whatever that photograph goes. It's like, oh my God, how is that? How can your aura be like that, right? Comment in on who's ever taken those, pictures, and your aura after, you're an higher XIQ person, and it's like, and the person taking the pictures, like, I've never seen that place. So, right? Again, comment in. So poverty, again, overall, here you go. How does poverty frequency look like? Perfect. Okay. So poverty isn't the lack of money, it's the distortion of self, which equals the lack of money. So no matter your income, poverty frequency, it basically leaks it away because your blueprint is coded for lack. So what that means is, when I see somebody who is in poverty, even if they're making $1 billion, again, like rags to riches stories, okay? They're in a $100 million home, but when I work on these people, it's like, shit, they're running poverty frequencies, and they're trying to keep up the wealth, the facade on the outside. Okay, people who are spiritual, same exact thing. They look spiritual, they all that. They wear the right robes and all that. They say the right things, but deep inside, they're messed up. So when I see the lack, basically there's your light that I was talking about, okay, and again, that brilliant blue, okay, but then what happens is that when I see people who are in lack, they're like a dirty gray color, right, and they're just like dripping. And if you've sold your soul or you've given your soul to others, I see bits and portions of you not there. Okay. And this is where, like, mental health issues, and I think there's a question in there on how I see, like, mental health, and all that. So next question, how do you instill wealth frequencies in people? Again, I don't give you wealth tips. I don't give you wealth. I basically restore your access to it, the original blueprint. So the frequency already exists in you. I just help you remember it. So what I do is I remove the distortion. Again, when I see you, it's like this grayish, sometimes if you really sold yourself, I just see a void. It's like a black hole. It's not even a black color. It's like a void, and this is where maybe science goes dark matter and dark matter and the other thing, right? So it's dark matter and dark matter, something like that. There's two of them. So again, it's not even a dark color. It's just like an empty space. Okay, and that gets really weird for people when you when you see people like that, it's like you just want to stay away because it is like a void. If you get too close to them, you literally get pulled in. So that's why they look, say, grotesque. Okay, so what I do is like I fill that void up for you. I clean you up. Okay, I help you rewire your frequency. I help you resonate at a higher level. Literally amp up the frequencies for you. Okay, increase your frame rate basically on how fast you render yourself. Because the faster you render yourself, the less distortion that you have, the less diseases that you have. And as you do that, you start to look cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And this is where you start to remove, again, you start to remove those, say, distortions in your system, and then your system locks back into, say, that natural wealth setting. And this is where if you've ever tried to become wealthy, and no matter what you do, it's like shit. No matter what I do, you make $1 million, this person making $1 million a month messed up as hell. In fact, the more money they made, more money she made, the worse it got for her. So again, you release all that, okay? Because you can't, or people who make a lot of money but they can't hold on to it, right? So, all right. Let's see. Question: how do you know if a new frequency is going to stick? Well, let's see. When it becomes congruent with your identity, it sticks. So if your identity fights it, you'll sabotage it until you're ready to align it. So basically, again, it's not a new frequency. It might be a new, say, experience of your frequency, but that frequency is already there. Again, the key is that you're never broken. Okay, you're totally complete. You just forgot who you are. So again, I clean you off. You start to resonate at this frequency. But again, because of free will, it's like, well, I'm not comfortable with this new frequency. It's like, if you've always lived at a 0-star hotel, okay, or setting, and then you go into, say, opulence, like 10-star. Not even 5, but 10-star. You get really, really uncomfortable. For some people, they get uncomfortable like that, right? It's like, gosh, that can't me. I don't deserve it. And all this bullshit starts to come out. And then what you do is some people, they put all that bullshit back onto them, and it doesn't feel good. So, and then it takes time for them to clean it up. But a lot of you, you go, shit, that is me. And you just you resonate. It's like, yep, I want to be at that level. And you're vibrating at this, like I say, a level 100 frequency. Your physical form starts to resonate at a 100 frequency. Okay. Question, and then I think we'll call it a day because there's a lot of questions. So we'll do, we'll do 2 more, and then we'll do part 3 some other time. So advanced truth, or the high XIQ seekers. All right. So this one: do physically beautiful people's frequencies look or feel beautiful too? This is where I ruin it for people. You see a hot woman, they're a handsome man, and it's like they look all that. How many of you guys have raised your XIQ and you see it's like, whoa, she's so hot, right? And then within seconds, you look at her, you look at that person, it's like, ooh, and the frequencies speak louder or are brighter than, say, their beauty. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of, say, Instagram, models, those types of people, Hollywood models and so on, you start to see, it's like, damn, they're so hot. And basically I go, shit, what a waste, literally. They don't know who they are. So they compensate, just like many people, compensate for spirituality, or they compensate for, religions, and they have money, but they're messed up on the inside. Same thing here, right? They're beautiful on the outside. Again, the compensation, that's not really them. And then what happens is they keep separating. So beautiful people on the outside, they keep separating. They don't want to be this ugliness that they know they are inside. Okay? And as they age, unfortunately, the thing that keeps, when they're young, obviously, it's literally like a rubber band. It's easy because they're strong enough, right, to pull apart their distortions, their ugliness, their broken patterns, and so on like that, and for their physical beauty. You see it with young people all the time, right? But then as you age, basically what happens is that the band gets tighter, you get weaker, and then the ugliness starts coming through, and you see these people, they're ravaging, ravishing beauties, when they're in their 20s, 30s, and so on. But by the time they hit 50, it's like, holy hell, what the hell happened? How did you go from this to that, right? It's like, whoa, what? Well, because again, truth always comes through with age, and like all that distortions comes out. So what you want to do with that, especially young people, you want to delete, say, the patterns that you've been carrying. I'm not saying there's ugly people out there, but there's people who carry ugly frequencies. You're all beautiful on the inside, and that's the potential that I see in you. Okay. So again, not always, again, physical beauty is just surface. Frequency beauty is the coherence, the radiance. And this is where people who age, they age beautifully, as they go through life. Okay, all right. So we will do part 2. We'll get into part 2, Godfather's frequencies, which is advanced truths. We'll talk about, say, higher levels, higher consciousness, science, quantum mechanics, AI. What's happening in the world. Basically, predicting what's happening in the world just by looking on the frequencies, and then we'll go to part 4, if I can find it. Part 4, again, the mechanics. Hands-on healing, group shifts, what happens, what I do on hyper meditations, okay? What happens in a recording on these hyper meditations? Why are the recordings just as powerful, almost as powerful as a live recording for you? What do I, when I see you in, say, a private session, and how do I tap into, your mom, your dad, and whoever that's there? How do I tap into people who have, say, crossed over? What's the science behind all that? What does it mean when I move my hands around? What am I doing? Those kind of things. So that'll be part 3 and part 4 coming up for you. Okay. Alrighty. Can we do a group scan today? Yeah, we'll just take about 5 minutes as a group scan. So. So as a group, what's happening for you all? You're basically getting, I want to say discombobulated, okay, from what I'm seeing. Yeah, so discombobulated, which is actually a good thing. So what you're doing is you're breaking apart your identity of who you are, okay? And what this means is, that in society, it's going to be a separation. Okay, it's going to be a divide, and again, it's not race or color. Race, culture, color, wealth, because that's what a lot of wealthy people think. It's not about that at all. Okay, but a lot of people are clamoring that way, right? They're hoarding. They're making bunkers. They're doing, underground bunkers, and all those kind of things that you hear about. They're saving, months and months of food. It's not going to save you guys. It's not going to save you. If you know people who do that, it's like, well, it's not going to save you, right? Because it's not the physicalness that will destroy you, okay? It's the frequency that will destroy you. You cannot hide from your frequencies. So that's what's happening, okay? You cannot hide from your frequencies. And then, so what that means is, if you're in a bunker, if you're in a safe house, if you're in $1 billion spaceship, whatever, it doesn't matter. The frequencies will destroy you if you're not at the right frequency. Again, you're going to be divided by frequency, not by anything else. Okay, so that's what's happening. Many of you, it's not even a war, Deanna. Literally, it's really not a war. It's a war, but initially it might look like a war, and that's why it's happening. The war is coming out because those individuals, the countries, the political leaders are like, hey, we got to have a war because that's how we saved our ass before. It's not going to help you. That's why these wars today, they just don't have that resonance, right? They don't pull things, they don't pull societies together. Have you noticed? Back in the day, Vietnam and all those wars, like hell, we put our differences aside, right? And we got together as a country. It's not happening. It's not happening in today's war. It's actually creating, say, disparity. And the disparity, so whatever you try to do that shouldn't be done other than raising your frequency will create more disparity, okay? That's a warning to those leaders, those churchgoers, those business people that want more and more control from you. The media, right? Again, all those people that will just put more control on people. That control will go back to you and will destroy you. So whether you're the media, whether you're the deep state, whatever that's out there, or whether you're that person that wants to control yourself, okay, or other people in a family setting, you can't do that. It'll destroy you as a whole. Okay? The only thing that you can control now is the frequency that you resonate. So you have to go inward. And no matter where you are, you cannot hide from frequencies. Okay? You cannot hide from frequencies. It'll find you. It's already there. You can't. It's like getting away from your shadow. Okay? Even if you're in the dark, you have that shadow. That's your identity. That is what's going to be coming out for you. And it's vicious, by the way. On the flip side, many of you who are awakened, it's very vicious. Okay? Those people who are awakened, it's so vicious that it'll just tear the lies off you. And you go, yep, tear it away from me. And that's where many of you are. It's like, yeah, I just want all that gone. And it'll just come in and just clean you out so rapidly. And you're just like, shit, I'm gone. It's not like decades worth of getting healthy and all that stuff. It's like in a short time, it's like your heart issues, your diseases, all that stuff, your aging and all that. It's like, shit, I'm gone. It's like, how did that happen? So that's what's happening for you. Okay. The light between us, I would love a scan on how to apply my potential. Xponential, I like that Xponential that you see, and I cannot. Yet, I want to make my spiritual practice my main vocation. Well, so if you want to make your spiritual practice your main vocation, which is totally fine, but, is that an old pattern of being like a monk? Or, it's like, I'm going to leave life here and I'm going to practice here, which is fine if you want to do that. But, XI dictates that you run through life. Okay? However you want to run through it, again, but you can't stop life. You cannot stop life and go, hey, I'm going to take time out. Okay, you can take time out for sure. Okay, but whether you're working, whether you're raising a family, whatever that you're doing, okay, be in life and then be an observer, because that's your spiritual practice. Okay, you don't want to disconnect from life and go and then come back in. A lot of people do that. So again, my advice to you is stay in the world, but observe how you create your imprint in the world. And when you do that, when you do that, what will happen for you is that your spiritual practice becomes your daily life. Okay? Most people again separate that. You don't want to do that, right? All right. Can you help my grandmother? Sometimes if I help people, and again, I'll talk about that in part 2, but when I help people, like say your grandmother, help your grandmother, she'll actually probably cross faster. We can talk about that for you, but basically that's what would happen for you, okay? Why don't I know or understand where I am in time and space? Because you create the rendering so vividly, so accurately. Imagine, you're wearing those 3D goggles, right? Especially if you're a kid, right? And then it becomes so real for you that you can't tell the difference between that reality and the reality that's in front of you. So that's why. Simple. So XI allows you to go, wait a second, I'm in a 3D hologram of myself. And that's where you get to be creative, right? All right, guys, we could go on. I've actually got a plane to catch. I am going to LA to do a filming for Think and Grow Rich, the documentary. So I'll let you know how that goes. Maybe we'll do some videos behind the scenes and all that on how all that works. I've never been on I have been on a film set, but not at this level. So it's just kind of cool. All right, guys. So notice what you notice. Notice the details of what you're noticing. All right, peace.